Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to share insights on a very timely topic. Our focus is on the media and entertainment industry, specifically examining the recent challenges and strategic shifts. The title of today's session is Investor Interest Wanes as Bollywood Loses the Plot. We'll explore how different stakeholders, industry leaders, faculty, and students can understand and navigate these changes. Over the course of this presentation, we'll look at critical aspects like capital allocation, revenue model transformations, and competitive repositioning in volatile markets. We'll also dive into a live case study demonstrating the intersection of entertainment economics, risk management, and strategic adaptation. And for students, we'll highlight how shifts in consumer behavior and digital disruption are reshaping traditional business models in real time. So, let's get started and uncover what this means for all of us involved in this dynamic industry. Let's explore how digital disruption is fundamentally reshaping revenue models across the entertainment industry. As we look at OTT platforms versus traditional theatrical economics, you'll notice a significant shift in how audiences consume content and how revenue streams are generated. Audience preferences are evolving rapidly, driven by the convenience and accessibility of digital options, which means we need to adapt quickly. This shift in consumer behavior impacts our entire business strategy, requiring us to think differently about how we allocate capital, especially in volatile markets where unpredictability is the new norm. Managing investment and risk has become more complex, but also more critical to stay ahead. At the same time, we're witnessing a structural transformation in film economics, alterations in production, distribution, and revenue sharing that are reshaping the industry landscape. Throughout this presentation, we'll focus on these core themes: how new technologies and changing consumer dynamics demand a strategic, flexible approach to succeed in this evolving environment. This transition is fundamentally changing how films are financed and marketed. It's a seismic shift that's impacting every aspect of the industry. When we look at profitability, it's become increasingly questionable for Bollywood projects. Traditional models are no longer as reliable as they once were. OTT platforms, for example, have made revenues from theatrical releases much more unpredictable. What used to be a steady income stream now varies greatly depending on the streaming success, and this unpredictability is making investors wary. Big-budget films, which used to be guaranteed blockbusters, are underperforming consistently. Despite the hype and high stakes, many of these films aren't meeting expectations at the box office. This has led to a dramatic rise in box office volatility, meaning revenues are fluctuating wildly from one release to another. All of these factors are causing investor confidence to fall sharply. The overall industry is facing a crisis, with financial stability becoming more uncertain than ever. This slide really highlights how deeply the industry is in flux, and it sets the stage for understanding the broader challenges we're facing today. Let's talk about the risks we face when there's no reliable upside in the industry. Often, failures tend to overshadow hits, making it harder to predict which projects will truly succeed. The old formula, which used to guarantee success, is no longer as effective, and this creates a lot of uncertainty. We're also seeing an overdependence on star power, which isn't a foolproof strategy anymore. At the same time, audiences are shifting their preferences, migrating increasingly towards streaming platforms. This OTT platform shift is changing the game entirely. As a result, investment recovery becomes uncertain, and high budgets don't always translate into high returns. Box office revenues have become highly volatile, with unpredictable collections from film to film. All of these factors contribute to why investors are losing interest. The industry is facing significant challenges, and understanding these risks helps us see why confidence is waning. It's a complex landscape, but recognizing these issues is the first step toward addressing them. Let's take a closer look at some key insights from the MBA perspective. When a sector starts losing predictability, investors tend to pull back. They want certainty, and when that vanishes, confidence drops. Traditional formulas that once worked well are now failing consistently, meaning the old rules no longer guarantee success. This creates a situation where there are no guaranteed hits anymore, so risk increases significantly. At the same time, distribution costs are escalating rapidly. Getting content to audiences is becoming more expensive than ever, which eats into profit margins. Coupled with high marketing spends, many films are running at a loss even before they recover their production costs. These pre-recovery losses add to investor anxiety because the financial outlook becomes uncertain and unpredictable. This unpredictability impacts revenue cycles, making them highly volatile. Investors are now more inclined to favor OTT originals over traditional theatrical releases, seeing them as safer bets amid these turbulent times. As a result, big production houses are struggling to raise capital, facing funding difficulties due to these industry-wide symptoms. Overall, these challenges reflect a broader industry trend. Uncertainty and risk are increasing, and traditional business models are no longer as viable, pushing everyone to rethink their strategies in this new landscape. So, as we look at the current landscape, it's clear that the traditional Bollywood formula no longer works as it used to. Instead of relying on expensive movie tickets, audiences are now turning to lower-cost subscriptions that offer more flexibility and affordability. Authentic storytelling has become a key factor in attracting viewers, with audiences craving genuine and relatable content. Regional cinema is also gaining prominence, going beyond the mainstream formulas and tapping into diverse stories that resonate with local cultures and languages. This diversification is really enriching the overall entertainment ecosystem. At the same time, we see a shift towards binge-watching culture, where viewers prefer frequent and convenient content. This convenience often outweighs the traditional theater experience, making OTT platforms the preferred choice for many. Ultimately, audiences are now driven by a consumer behavior revolution. They want accessibility, variety, and instant gratification. This shift is redefining how content is created and consumed, and it's crucial for us to understand these evolving preferences if we want to stay ahead in this dynamic industry. Let's talk about some of the key challenges the industry is facing today. Investors are increasingly wary of the potential for negative returns on big-budget films, which adds a lot of risk to production financing. At the same time, revenue streams are becoming more uncertain. For example, music rights, which used to hold steady value, are now declining, making them less reliable as income sources. Satellite rights, once a dependable way to recover costs, no longer guarantee a return, adding to the financial unpredictability. When we look at revenue challenges overall, collections are highly unpredictable. Box office revenues can vary greatly depending on many factors, making it tough to forecast profits accurately. Theater revenues, in particular, are under pressure, and that's a critical concern for the industry's financial health. On the cost side, expenses are rising sharply, especially for actors, sets, and VFX. These elements are now often exceeding half of the total production budget, which significantly impacts profitability. Similarly, marketing spends can account for around 50% of the budget, further straining finances. All these factors collectively put immense financial stress on producers. The combination of rising costs and uncertain revenues creates a very challenging environment, making it harder than ever to plan and succeed in the current industry landscape. When we talk about MBA learning, one key lesson is that innovation in product, or storytelling, is just as vital as innovation in business itself. If we want to succeed, we need fresh, compelling stories that resonate with audiences. Higher success rates often come from better content, which is why investing in quality storytelling makes such a difference. Now, looking at the South Indian film industry, we see fierce competition. This has led to star fees spiraling out of control, making it increasingly expensive to produce hit films. At the same time, talent costs are inflating, putting additional pressure on budgets. We've also seen sequels that lack substance, failing to bring anything new or meaningful to the table, and relying heavily on franchises can be risky if the core content isn't strong. Unfortunately, at the production level, there's often weak content filtering, which results in poor screenplay quality and unengaging stories. This lack of excitement and engagement from audiences is evident in repetitive storylines, which don't offer anything fresh or surprising. When we analyze the structural reasons behind this decline, it becomes clear that these issues are interconnected. A focus on safe but unoriginal content is undermining the industry's potential for growth and innovation. So, to turn this around, we need to emphasize the importance of innovative storytelling, creating stories that captivate and surprise audiences just as much as we focus on business strategies. Only then can we hope to improve success rates and sustain the industry's growth. This slide really encapsulates the creative and financial turnaround challenges that Bollywood faces today. First, we need to focus on financial discipline. Controlling budgets is crucial to ensure profitability and sustainability. Next, adopting audience analytics and insights allows us to understand viewer preferences better, making our research data-driven and more effective. Strengthening OTT and theatrical integration is also key, as hybrid revenue models can diversify income streams and maximize reach. Investing in regional and varied genres helps us diversify our content portfolio, appealing to broader audiences. Moving towards profit-sharing models and reducing star fees can also improve our financial efficiency and reduce costs. Lastly, rigorous script vetting and development are essential to improve content quality, ensuring that what we produce resonates and succeeds. Overall, these combined strategies form a comprehensive approach to revitalizing Bollywood, balancing creative innovation with sound financial practices. So, as we wrap up, let's consider some of the big questions facing Bollywood today. Can simply cutting costs and telling better stories really bring back investor confidence? Or do we need to look at more radical ideas, like adopting Hollywood-style profit participation models? And what role can data analytics play in transforming the Indian film industry? Another important point is how Bollywood can reduce its heavy reliance on star power. If we want a more sustainable industry, we need to think about diversifying our approach. Plus, there's the question of whether investors should shift their focus entirely to OTT platforms instead of traditional theatrical releases. OTT can potentially reset the entire financial model of the sector, offering new opportunities and challenges. Now, looking at the broader picture, disruption often resets economics, meaning new models can challenge old ways of doing business. Remember, success isn't just about being legacy or historically successful. Capital tends to follow confidence. If the audience and investors believe in a product, that confidence drives investment. Brand loyalty, while important, means less if the product quality isn't there. Consumers today value quality over just a brand name. And because consumer behavior shifts faster than the industry can adapt, agility becomes crucial. Markets reward predictability, but films inherently carry risks with no guaranteed reliability. That's why predictability really matters for investors. Finally, for us as MBA students, understanding these lessons is key. The Indian film industry is at a crossroads, and embracing change, whether through data, new revenue models, or adapting quickly, can be the difference between thriving or just surviving.